So I've got probably a somewhat unique repair video. I know I said in my last one that I would be repairing a game console. However, life kind of got a hold of the family. I got sick for a little bit. Was bedridden for a little over a week. And then in somewhat better news, my wife and I, we had our fourth kid. She was born, and that's pretty much taking up our time readjusting the family and getting things figured out. But I figure I'd do, well, that video's still coming, but I figure I'd do a nice short little repair video. Some things I've been meaning to get replaced on my car. I've got an MKV, that's Mark V, Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta. Ignore the dash, the plastic and trim. I've had this car since it was put out from the production line. It's a year one model. The plastics on it are different from the second year. Unfortunately, because this car has been out in a lot of hot climates, the plastics have gotten brittle. I eventually will be replacing this entire center console. I've got one on order, but something that I noticed is with the paints on these, I had to stop using Armor All because it was lifting the paints off on the vents and stuff. The replacement parts, I'm going to be replacing those eventually as well. But even on your armrest, you know, where you can raise and lower your windows, etc., paints have slowly been coming off on that. I got my keys in right now. Let's see. Passenger side works. However, I want to say one of the rear doors does not. I got the safety switch on. I might have that safety switch on. Let me try it now. Alright, so that one works. My kids, they like grabbing rocks and putting them in the car. Is it this one? Yes, it is this one. This one right here definitely no longer functions. And this car I've slowly worked on, been doing all my own repairs, whether they're good or not. I mean, I probably shouldn't be a judge of my own handiwork. I do need to clean this car. But been slowly modifying it over the years as well. And it's been a very good car. I've had it for, like I said, since it came off the production line, was sold at Volkswagen. I think I bought it with maybe 20 miles on it, if that at all. But I'm going to be replacing all these door panel switches. And I got these off of, was it Eurotuning? Yeah, Eurotuning.com. The dash I bought from a different website, I think ECS Tuning. But I'm gonna take off this door trim and get all these switches replaced. Now, there's no screws necessarily on the trim itself. It locks into place and pulls off, and I'm going to find it a wee bit difficult to do this work while holding a phone. So let me get got a little iFixit toolkit. Let me get it opened up, get a spudger out, and we'll go from there. I think this might work. And so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be able to show this on video, but I'm going to try to use a spudger, or whatever you want to call this, to separate out the plastics from the armrest to lift this up so I can gain access to this panel. So hold on a second while I pause this video, and we'll be back shortly. Okay. So what I found out worked best was actually taking a tool like this right here, and then I got it into this front corner here, and allowed me to pry it up a little bit. And then I was able to work my way around, and just with a little bit of pressure pulling this up while working this around, I was eventually able to get it to come free of the armrest. Now I have replaced the side view mirror switch, which allows you to adjust the side view mirror from the inside. And I didn't even know this for the first couple years I had it, but when you switch it on to here, it turns on the defroster for your side view mirrors. But now that we have that out, should be able to remove this clip here. Now what you'll see is a blue tab that you will have to pull up in order to remove the wiring harness from this actual housing here. So I'm going to pull up on this tab and pull this right here out. So give me a second. Okay, so you can see that this is a spring release mechanism going to the wiring harness, fit directly into here. So now I should be able to remove this guy. Taking a look at it, you've got some tabs in here that are going to need to be depressed. 3 on each side, none on the top or the bottom, in order to wiggle this out of socket. So more than likely, using the same tool, probably just need to apply a little bit of pressure on these tabs. Or maybe I can come from the other side and just slowly work them out. I'll try not to crack the plastic on the housing itself. I think what I could do is I could probably feed these over the tabs, so I'm not doing too much prying. I think that might work. I'll put a little bit of pressure over top, then I can basically like a big guitar chip. But yeah, I'll put them in there. I'll pause the video. I'm going to put them in place to show you what I've done, and then I'll be right back. So I ended up not doing that. What I did is each tab that was down in here, I slightly worked them up and underneath this plastic bit here so I can have them free of these holes. And I'm not pulling this all the way out just yet because there's still the other side that needs to be freed up. So what I'll need to do is hold this side while I have this flipped over. I suppose what I could do is just go ahead and release this other switch to get this completely free, make it easier to work with. Hold on a second. I've got that switch disconnected. I can work on this a little more freely, and just like so now you can probably see the tabs better. Those are grabbing this plastic at this opening. So just like on this side where I freed them up a little bit and moved them out, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I should at that point be able to remove this switch assembly from the armrest. Yeah, you can even see, like, so these had a painted coating on top of them, but again, because of, I don't know if it was a type of paint or what, but Armor All, and of course my arm, and you know, the grease that comes off your skin has just slowly deteriorated all that paint away. Eventually I might just remove all the paint and sand these down and just repaint them black. But for now, working better fitted switches without all the paint falling off would be nice in the car. All right, so give me a minute and I will be right back. So that came out relatively easily. And I'm pretty sure, wow, that was barely in there. One side of it is broken. Let's look at these mechanisms for a second. Oh, just by touching that side, broke as well. Yeah, it's to be expected. This car was made mid-waves in 2005. Here it is 2020, a little over mid-ways. You know, this is a 15-year-old car at this point. Man, that's dirty. You can see the little LEDs at the very bottom, which illuminate through this right here. Normally, you would just have a door window symbol. You can kind of make it out. That would illuminate, not the entire switch because it's coated in paint. Do I save this and use it for something in the future? I might have some uses for some of the parts on this in the future, but for now, we are just going to take out the old, swap in the new. If you need a part number for the armrest, it reads, can I get the focus? Get some light on there. There goes the part number. 1 kilo 4 868 049, and that B might just be a revision. There's no telling. 1 kilo 4 868 049. Revision B is this one. Made in Germany. It's got its date on it when it was produced. Interesting. Let's swap in the new part. Should be fairly simple. Alright, here goes the new. Paint seems to be... Actually, this might just be black plastic and not painted. It might have... Plastic itself's probably died. Or maybe not. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to have to work a little more quickly. But in the same manner it came out, it goes in. Should make sense. Just line up everything in the bottom with everything up top. Should just click right on in. Just like so. And from there, we can just put it back right back into the door. Well, got to reconnect the connectors, and then everything should press right back in. Alright, got it all seated back in there. Testing them out. They're all working. Working just fine. When I go to put it back in, I'm going to start from the back and work my way to the front. Exact opposite of how I took it out. One of the things I'm going to make sure I do, you can see the door fabric here is it's gotten old. The glue is gotten a little loose on it, so I'm going to make sure that it stays tucked underneath the lip of this armrest when I put it back in. And it should just snap back into place, every piece. Alright. Alright, one thing to make note of when you're testing these is there are actually two positions on the switch. The first click down is to manually lower, but there is a second position. You'll feel that double click. When you hit that second position, the window should come down automatically. or continue to come down even after release. Same thing for up top. You've got one click that allows you to bring up the window yourself, and then 2 clicks, it should come the rest of the way up. There we go. Might have a little bit of wear in to get them to function correctly. Wonder, that's sticking a little bit. I'm going to take this back out and readjust it, just see if it's in there the right way, and test that one out again. Alright, so what I decided to do was just go ahead and take it out and make sure I cleaned this off as well as I could. Just get out any debris, grease, etc. that might be causing this one to stick a little bit. And it seems to be working a lot better now. I like it. If I turn on my headlights, now here's something I didn't quite consider. I'm not sure if I 100% like, but again, this is aftermarket part. If you look on the old switches, you can see the placement of the window symbol, and it's a lot closer to the front than these aftermarket switches, even though they got this nice chrome tip to them. They're further back. But let me turn my lights on. And you can kind of see that they still illuminate. Still looks good. Alright, now we can move on to the other doors. Alright, so all these other doors are going to be exactly the same. Not our full console button, are kind of slanted upwards, same style design, even the passenger front door. It appears that they split in half in the center, and it looks as though there is a small tab up at the front here. So I'm going to play with this for a bit off camera and then explain to you how I got everything taken apart. Alright, so these are definitely a lot different. What you have is a kind of like a clamshell design. This bottom part pops off. I started at the top and started pulling and prying a little bit. You can see a metal retaining tab here. Looks like I might have pried a little bit too hard. That retaining tab, yeah, clips in and on there. Got another one down at the bottom. And then if you want to get the top piece off, you actually have a screw down the center that would have to come out. Then you've got no problem accessing the switch from the bottom. But I am going to be lazy and try to see if I can get that the wire clip out and this removed without taking this off. So give me a second while I play before I make a determination. So I was able to pry a little bit. You know, just like with the front side, you got some retaining clips. They're not that big. The teeth aren't, there aren't any teeth on them that will hold it in place. I was able to get it to release. However, I don't know if it was already broke or if it's just something that I did when after I got released, but the plastic tab on this side came off. Again, these are very old. Remember, the switch also extremely dirty. It does have some nice little surface mounted components in there. These would be your micro switches, the white things that tell it to go up and down. Now let's see the reason why it is not working. Then you got a little tab you have to depress, and then you can pull the wire from out of the switch like so. And quite a bit of corrosion. Hoping that's really not affected the wires. You got 3 going in, so this 4th pin right here is actually not populated, so could have been some liquids or something that got down there, maybe rain. But I am going to clean this corrosion out and pop a new switch in place, and we'll test it out and see how it does. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken a bit of this electronic cleaner. You could probably just use some vinegar to get rid of the corrosion, and then some isopropyl alcohol afterwards to get that vinegar cleaned out. But I've sprayed this down into the contact on that side and from that other side to hopefully flush out as much as that corrosion as possible. And then using the pointy end, put this down into the hole and cleaned it out a little bit. Ideally what you want to do is take the wires out and the metal pins that are in here, you'd want to get them fully clean and all the corrosion off. But I'm not bothered enough to actually do something like that. So and it's not like this is a indoor consumer electronic, you know, it is a car. It is just but a switch. I want to say this is made by Max. You can find it in Napa. I think CRC, I think it's CRC or CQC makes a good electronic cleaner as well. I much prefer using CRC, but this is all I had available at the store close by. Well, I will put this switch in there and we'll test it out. I might have to reset using my VAC cable the computer on this side, but apparently not. Seems to be working just fine. I did go ahead and clean out inside here, so that way if anything was greasy and super tacky, I could get that all flushed out. Looks like we got a working window now. I will throw that panel back on, and the way it went in should also come out. It's hard to capture on the phone. See if I can turn the light on. There we go. You can see these tabs line up these openings here, and then it should just pop right in. A little bit of upwards pressure. There we go. Back half, front half, and 2 clicks down, 1 click up, 2 clicks up, and that window's working as well. Let's put this piece back on. Simple and easy, not too hard, not by the book, but it worked. I wanted to show you how I take these side also, just mention it. If you start with this top part right here and pry back a little bit, this whole thing will slide out. So you have to do a bit of prying and pulling on this piece at the same time, but it will release with a little bit of effort. Which is not easy to do one-handed. That's pretty much the process I use. Pried from here and then pulled from this piece right here until it pulled away and I was able to access the switch underneath. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 door switches installed. Sounds like one of the mirrors needs to be cleaned. It's getting a little squeaky. Alright, that's all of it. Well, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more odd repair videos, me not really getting into electronics and stuff, you know, comment in the subscription. You know, hopefully somebody finds this video informative, or at least, you know, like I always say, entertaining. Appreciate your time. Have a good one.